Hello and welcome to the video on actually getting this pond ready for fiberglass, which includes putting bottom drains in it, which it never had before, and some inlets in the side, stuff like that. I won't actually be doing the fiberglassing myself, so when I've got it all ready, the fiberglass is just going to appear, so somebody else is doing that. It's not a job I particularly want to do. But we've taken all the liner out, and we've actually started digging through, so it wants a proper bottom drain in it. We've got the drum filter over there. The drum filter is going to go at the other side of this wall here, so it's just going to go down here. And I've got a little hole that I've dug straight through there, so that's where the pipework's going to go. The end concrete is going to be pretty much where the floor is now, so I need to lower the floor so I can put concrete in, and then obviously dig a channel out for the drain to go in about here, and then concrete that in, and then it's going to come up at the other side up there, which I've dug all out, and sit on top of that, so it should be good. We're also going to have, so it's going to be like a little section of filtration equipment down this back bit here. There's going to be a K1 chamber, then there's going to be two returns, 2-inch returns here. One of them's going to bypass this blade in winter, so obviously blades, you don't want them running in winter, it just dissipates heat for no apparent reason. And this is going to be a heated pond, probably just to keep it mild, about 12 degrees, something like that, between 12 and 15 degrees. So in winter, one of the returns is going to work and bypass what water comes over that. The other one is going to be where the pond fills up. So it's going to be a 2-inch inlet, because there's no point in putting any less than a 2-inch inlet in. And then if you ever do need to use it for something else, you can do, because it's not an essential to have this go into a tank with a ball valve in it that just keeps the pond water perfectly level. But that's the plan for the second return. And then over here there's going to be another return. So there is this 4-inch return here that comes from the shower, which you'll see later, it's over in that section. And then that's going to return about there, underneath the pond's water level. Yeah, so that's it. So we just need to take all this liner out, which is really well in the wall, which is going to be a pain, but there we go, cutting it out like that. Filling all that back in, filling these holes in, and should be good. Right, let's get on with that. So just a quick show you what I've been doing. I dug all this out here to relieve the water that we're all in here, and it has dried out a lot better with this out, so it's able to go sort of through there and soak away, which is nice, although I have vacuumed some of it out because it was a bit of a puddle this morning. But then now I'm digging it down, so I'm digging through annoyingly clay. It's really wet clay, it's horrible to dig, it just sticks to your spade. But yeah, so I'm digging this down. Obviously it needs neatening up, but knocking it down, taking this hardcore out first, which is about an inch layer. Now I'm going to put that back in so I can whack it all, and then put the bit more hardcore down, and then concrete. So I've got a good, I don't know, 4-inch of concrete at least. It should be a pretty decent base, and then it'll be back, the pond level will be back to where it were before. Otherwise pond level will be up here, and it'll be quite a shallow pond. So it's worth digging it out. So one bit of a trouble we are having is, obviously this pond was leaking, that's what's caused all this, renovation thing. But a lot of the water is actually still under here. It's sort of soaked in. And I've noticed, obviously we've dug that out under there. That's 6 inches lower than the pond at least. And there's not been any water in that until I cut through, and now the water's coming from here down there slowly into the other side. So this water is just what's got trapped underneath the pond, and hopefully it's going to dry up. But obviously this is clay, right, that's the actual base, it's just a blue clay stuff, so it's not laying the water that we're actually leaking out the pond out. So probably what was happening is it was filling up, because there were about 2 inches of water under the liner. It would probably fill it up and then going through somewhere much higher in the sides of the pond, and that's where it were actually leaking out. But this is just saturated. Makes it fun. So here we are in the hole again, still an hole, and as you can see, there's no ditch where that goes out now. It's now all lower down, so I'm lowering it all down to that level for the, so there's room for concreting. Yeah, so it's getting there. Obviously, I've piled that up there, that gravel. I'm going to move it to here because I like digging so much. It's nice to get to move it twice. And yeah, so I need to move that now so I can dig all this area out. Yeah, exciting. But we're doing well. It's going out quite well. So there we go, that's the bottom drain installed. And we've actually levelled the gravel out on here and whacked it. We've had a bit of trouble with a damp patch in this corner. I think it's still pond water making its way back in. So we're going to be, when we concrete this area, we're just going to put down a really dry bit and hopefully it absorbs it. And I think the weight of the concrete might push it back. Obviously what you'd normally do is put down a visqueen sheet and put the concrete on top, but if you do that under the pond, it just holds the water under the pond. So I'm hoping that the concrete slab will crush it down out of the way. But then it's been insulated anyway before fiberglassing it, so it should be alright. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with it. It's coming up lovely. And you can see how thick the concrete's going to be. It's just because the concrete's going to be level with this drain. And then there's going to be 50mm insulation on top of that before the fiberglass. So the drain will be 50mm below the fiberglass. But it needs to be concreted in the bottom. So that's fine. Yeah, quite a neat job. I don't know if you can see it over there. You can just see the pipes going out. So I've left a little bit extra on because you can always cut them back, but adding to it's always difficult. So, but that can be sorted when it's all fiberglassed and done. And there we go. Tomorrow's job is concreting it. Yeah, it looks really good from up here. So if you look at the wet patch, it's coming in this corner, and there's a garage here, and this is all undercover. So it's definitely going to be water from when it were leaking. But it's been, I don't know how long it's been, a week or so since we got rid of the pond. It's just slowly making its way back. Less and less every day, admittedly. When I first started doing it, I was taking 2 or 3 vacuums out, and now it's only about 1 litre a day, but yeah, bit annoying. So there we go, we've got it all concreted. Took a full day to do it. It's about 29 mixers, and I'd say they were just short of 4 tonnes, something like that. I bought 2.7 tonnes of sand and 1.5 tonnes of gravel, and I hadn't quite used it all, so probably just short of 4 tonnes, somewhere around that. But yeah, there we go. It's good. It's sort of 6-inch thick to 4-inch thick, 4-inch to 6-inch thick, which is probably a bit overkill, to be honest. It doesn't need to be that thick. If a nuclear bomb goes off, that drain will be the only thing remaining in this area. But yeah, it is done, thankfully. So let's let it set before I drop my phone in it and come back to it when it's set. Right then, so we've had a little bit of a change. As you can see, the concrete has set. There is no damp patch, which I am absolutely pleased with. It's not showed any signs of being damp or anything. It's just remained this dry. It has been pretty warm and sunny lately, but yeah, it seems to have cleared up that, which is great. But yeah, as you can see, the insulation's all on around the edges, and then we've drilled 2 returns here and here, and then another return here. So this return is going to be from the backy shower that's in the garage here, and then one of those returns is going to be a diversion for this blade. So in winter, when this blade's not running, the water will come out there, and then the other one is going to be for a header tank that keeps the level spot on for the pond, which is I like to do that because if you put in the header tank, it's not 100% necessary to put it on a pipe like this, but you can always one day, if you need that inlet for something else, you've got it there, and you could take the header tank off, do something different with that, and use the inlet. So it's kind of a spare inlet really, rather than that. And then also we've got the skimmer on. So that's where the skimmer's going, right there. So yeah, we're doing quite well. It's pretty much ready for fiberglass. This is where the window's going. And a good way for the dog to get in and out. But yeah, this is where the window's going. Nice little window, decent size. I think it's just right for this pond really. If I stand back a bit, you can see sort of the percentage that the window takes up. It's not a huge window, but it's just sort of right and neatly placed, I think, to add to the pond's look and make it look good. But yeah, it'll be a really nice tank this when it's done. Just got to tidy this up, put in the outlets, and then wait for it to be fiberglassed. Right, I need to take these off and all because the fiberglass is coming up to this level, all the way across. There we go. So this is how I'm doing the window. So I've just basically cut out this hole smaller than the window and left a 3-inch gap round here. And the window, the glass is going to sit there like that. And that way it's just going to hold onto this wall. So the fiberglass is going to come across here, down there, across there like that. And then I can just put loads of silicone around here. Just like so. Fill all that with silicone and then just pop the window on like that. And then fill it in neatly with silicone. This is a 50mm insulation board and it's probably a 25mm piece of glass. So I might actually just put a little chamfer on here. Just to make it not a square edge, because obviously the window's going to finish there like that, so I might just make it like that. But I could pack it out, I could pack the window out so it did come flush with that. I've got both options. Something to think about, I suppose. It might look a bit, I think it might look neater if the window's as close to the wall as possible and this is chamfered in, just because the fish will rub against that bit and it's fiberglassed. But yeah, that's something I've got to think about. But that's basically how you do windows. It's pretty easy. Just get the glass bigger than the hole, silicone, bop. Yeah. So we're all ready for fiberglassing. It is, you got your skimmer, you got your window cut out, you got the inlets put in. All that's ready. The only thing I've got left to do is I'm just going to put a bit of expanding foam down this gap here because it's a bit of a big gap. But yeah, I've decided on just rounding this edge off here. So the fiberglass goes round an edge there to the window. The only problem we've got is we are getting a little bit of water in at the minute, which obviously you can't fiberglass a wet surface. 1 second. So we are hoping it dries out. So it's been dry for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden, it's not even rained, so all of a sudden water's just started coming in like crazy, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, it's going down the drain and then out to that lower bit out here. So it's going down there. The dog's seen water. Let some water on the floor over there. But yeah, I'm not pleased with that really. I'm hoping it dries up, but I've got a feeling it's not going to, and we're going to have to delay fiberglassing. I guess figure out where this water's coming from, or dig a hole on the outside deeper than the pond so the water runs into it. But yeah, a bit of a shame that bit, because it is completely ready for fiberglassing. So there we go, we have plumbed it up. So it's took me a bit of rumming and ahhing on how to do this, but I've finally decided, and it is all welded in place, so I've got no choice for it to be like that now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this all in, get it all filled in, and then bring it back up. And the drum filter there is going to be sat here like that. I'm going to put some sort of T on that so I can put a purge valve in, not 100% worked out, and then this is going to run round, going to the drum filter. So yeah, I'm quite pleased on how it's set up at the minute, and it's not a bad run that with that 45 degree in it. It shouldn't collect much muck. This is a bit tall as well, so the drum filter is going to be probably sat about here. So there's not much of a jump up into the drum filter, so I think there'll not be much muck that settles in the bottom of there. It'll only be particularly heavy things that settle in the bottom. So it'll all end up in the drum filter quite easily, which will be great. And then the skimmer, that shouldn't be a problem either. In fact, this is the first time I put a ball valve on a skimmer. I'm not sure it's a good idea because they're really heavy, but usually I just put a slide valve on it. But annoyingly, I'm going to have to put a slide valve on the drum filter because there's not enough space here to put a ball valve in this gap and then put the drum filter here and then put that K1 chamber there. So I'm going to have to put a slide valve in, which I prefer not to do because they always leak a bit, but it's better than no valve at all. So yeah, alright, I'm going to get on with it and then you'll see it in a second. So there we go. That's the concrete slab nicely put down there, and that one's also set on a concrete slab as well. But this one may move about on its concrete slab. I think it's going to end up coming closer that way, but we'll see when it's actually all together. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. So the actual running height of the drum filter is where that black mark is. That's where it wants to sit. So I'm going to make a little stand for it to raise it up to that height. The reason I've done that, and it's the same with this one as well, this one wants to come up probably about, if you look, wants to come up to that cement line there. So I just need to raise them up a little bit, and I've done that because it's easier to raise them up than to lower them down. So if for some reason it needs changing later on, or the levels or whatever change for whatever reason, I can lower it down. But if it's just concrete, then I'll be digging the concrete up. So it's easier to put feet under it. Plus, it'd be quite a high step. And then this is going to go into the drum from the bottom drain, and then this is going to go to a purge valve, and then this is going to come around here from the skimmer and into the drum. And then hopefully this will fit there before the drum filter. And then there's a ball valve to go on that side. I do prefer ball valves than slide valves, but there's just not enough room. It'd bring it out to like here. So even that's going to be a tight fit. Let's get it in. So there, that's sat there. It's not exactly where it's going to go. Obviously it needs to be a bit further this way. But yeah, pretty well in line. Quite pleased with that. Obviously just needs lifting up. The only difficulty we're going to have with maintenance is changing that UV light, but there's just no, this drum's got to go further this way, but it's still going to be a bit of a bugger to change this UV light because this thing also needs to go further this way. So I don't know, it is what it is. But unfortunately I only have to do it every 2 years. It's just going to be an absolute nightmare to do, probably. But you can't win them all. Sometimes you just got to do it how you got to do it. So I'm getting on with it quite well, quite pleased with it. I've put a line in to this filter, just need to work out the outlet. It's getting a little bit busy down back here, and there is a pump down back there, which it's not a very ideal pump, but it is where it is. I think it's just the best place to put it, and it's not really something you need that much maintenance on, a pump after a drum filter anyway, so I just think that's the best place to put it, unless I can think of what else later on. But there we go. I mean, I could have probably put it here or something like that, which is to be considered, I suppose. I might consider that in a bit, because it is getting busy down there. There's an outlet on the side of this tank just here that you can't see, that I've got to come up and into this pump somehow, and then there's another outlet underneath that one that also needs to go to a water tank somewhere, probably over there. Yeah, so we're doing quite well. It's just sort of getting it in. One mistake, it's not really a mistake because there was no other way of doing it, but I put this 4-inch valve here, and it didn't occur to me at the time of putting it here that comes up there, but this 4-inch outlet really should have gone on there, probably at an angle, right? But yeah, so opening that and actually, yeah, I need to work that out. I'm going to actually get the waste out of there now. But there were no real better way of doing it. I couldn't have brought the thing this way because I need to use this port, and I couldn't have brought it that way because it hit the wall, so I guess I could have put it on an angle. Might have been the way of doing it, but it didn't happen. Unless I can change it round on them bolts, we'll have to work something else out. But that's where I'm getting up to so far. So I'm just going to finish plumbing it. I haven't done the skimming yet, so that needs sorting out. And the purge valve. So if you want to see how this pond ended up looking like this, and a bit more in-depth look at it, then subscribe for next week's video. And if you like this video, then please like it. If you have any questions or comments, then please put them down below. And I shall see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.